What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 16, Unfinished Business. And this is the last episode before we dig deep into the tell all. So we start off with Mike and Ximena. Mike is packing up his stuff because Ximena basically kicked him out, and she won't let him stay there for not another hour, not another minute, not another second. She wants him gone, and so he's packing up his stuff, and Ximena is downstairs, and she's being comforted by her mother and her sister, and Ximena tells her mother that somehow or another she always ends up finding the crazies, and I thought that was really funny, and it's also really sad because no matter if you like Mike or not, or can sympathize with him or not, it's just you understand that heartache that he's going through when someone that you really, really, really love and that you really, really, really want doesn't want you and doesn't love you back. And if there are any Michael allies there, and I know that there are, this right here is what makes him what makes you want to kind of be on his side or something, because everybody can understand that pain of really wanting to be with someone that doesn't want to be with you at all. And for that moment, it's like my heart was breaking for Mike. But then again, I have to remind myself that he put himself in that position because she had told him so many times in so many different ways, directly, indirectly, aggressively, passively. She told him that she didn't want to be with him. And he just kept on, kept on, kept on, kept on pressuring her, kept on trying to persuade her. And in a way, he kind of put himself in this position, but then again, you can still sympathize with him. And so the mother says that this was really sad because you can tell from the mother and even the sister, but definitely from the mother, that she did not want to see this happen. She did not want to see Ximena and Mike break up. Now, it could be because she felt like now Ximena and possibly the rest of the family might be struggling financially without his money, but it could also be maybe, just maybe, the mother really liked him and thought that, Mike was really good for her daughter. Because the mom to me seems like a very nice woman, and the father too. So her mother seems like really, really nice. I just can't imagine that she's sad only because of the money not being there anymore. So the mother says that Mike came around at the right time, and it was during the quarantine when Ximena wasn't able to work, which I was also kind of confused about because when this show first started, when we first met Ximena and Mike, Ximena has said that she worked in a nail salon, and because of the pandemic, the salon closed down, and so she was struggling financially. And then basically Mike came in and rescued her. But then later on in the season, we find out that she was also doing work on an adult website. And so I was thinking to myself, now I don't think the quarantine or the pandemic would have affected the work that she was doing on the adult website because you're not in close contact with anybody. But then I thought to myself, okay, maybe it did affect their business because the men were probably, a lot of them were laid off. Hours were cut during the quarantine time. So financially, yeah, it probably did affect what was going on online as well. So the mother was saying that, Mike came in at the right time. It was during the quarantine when he was able to help her out financially, and that she sees Mike like a family member. And I'm thinking, I don't know, because Mike had only met these people one other time before, which was during his first trip in Colombia. So I don't really know exactly why there's this closeness with Mike, because he hasn't spent that much time with them, but they feel this, deep connection with Mike. And like I said, some people might say it's not even like a familial connection, it's a financial connection, that him giving them money, giving Ximena money, made a huge difference to them. And so this is the reason why his departure is affecting the mother, the father, whoever else, so deeply. I don't know. Maybe it's a mixture of both. Maybe they really did like him and it's just a mixture of both. I don't know. So the next day, Mike, one other thing that I wanted to add, a part of that whole family connection, that family closeness that they seem to have with him, Mike was insisting on being able to say goodbye to everybody, especially the children, in person before he left for his flight. And Ximena had told him yes. And I think she only said yes because she was just, worn down by him. But Ximena had told him yes. He really wanted to come by the next day and personally say goodbye to everybody. And it makes you think, okay, maybe he was really close to these people. But then again, on the flip side of that, he probably just was trying to find an excuse to come and talk to Ximena again face to face and to beg her to come back to him again. So the next day, he calls her in the morning and he asks if he can come by to say goodbye to the kids. And they're on FaceTime with each other, and her kids are with her family's with her. And she tells him no. She says, no, I don't want you to come here. She says, you're rude and I don't want to see you. And if you want to say goodbye, you can say goodbye right here, right now on the phone. And so she pans the phone, the camera phone, so that everybody can get a chance to say goodbye to him. And he got a chance to say goodbye to everybody else. And Mike says that he's done with Ximena. He says, I'm done with her. I'm not going to initiate any more contact with her. It's over. It's done. And he really stuck by his word, because the very next time that we see Ximena, Mike is calling her. Mike is messaging her. Mike is stalking her again. So she's in the middle, or about to begin her interview section with the producers, where they ask you all these questions, and like the confessional part. So she's about to start that, and she's constantly looking at her phone, and the interpreter who's there to interpret for her was asking her, what's going on. And she says, Mike is messaging me. And this is the man that said, I'm done with her. I'm not going to communicate with her anymore. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. It's that same man. Now he's messaging her like a crazy person, and he's telling her that that the life that she had before him was really difficult, and he doesn't want to see her struggle, and that he wants to take care of her, and he wants to give her security. He wants her to have security for her future, for her children. And he tells her that he wants to help her, and he's offering her vacations, travel, trips around the world. He says you can have two homes, one in New York and one in Colombia. Like, he's trying to offer her this so-called luxurious lifestyle. Like I said, how luxurious can it be when he's living with his father and his grandfather? I mean, if you really got it like that, Mike, you would not be living with your father and your grandfather. Or maybe he does have it like that because he doesn't have to pay rent or do anything else financially in his father's home. So maybe he does have a lot of expendable income. But he was making her all of these promises, and she was like, why are you willing to do this if we're just friends? And he's basically like, I just want you to be secure. And he says, I want us to get married. And it's like, Mike, why? Why do you want to push yourself through this constantly, again and again and again? Glutton for punishment, this is, the personification of that. Mike is the personification of glutton for punishment. You just love to be used and abused and talked down to and embarrassed in front of the whole. You just love that, Mike. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I was flabbergasted that he was offering to still marry this girl after all that they went through. And then it comes to a point where, like, if she were to use him just for that, you wouldn't even feel sorry for him because of all the stuff that she put him through, all the stuff that they went through time and time and time again. You would not even feel sorry for him if she was like, okay, we'll get married and just use him up for all his money while she has a little boy toy on the side and just using him for his money. You wouldn't even feel sorry for him because it's kind of like you set yourself up for this. This is something that, you were chasing this kind of punishment. Moving on from Mike and Ximena, Usman and Kimberly. So Usman says Kimberly has left. Okay, she's gotten on the plane. She's on her way back to San Diego, and Usman says that he has one more day in Tanzania before he leaves for Nigeria. Excuse me. So the last day that he spends in Tanzania, what is he going to do? He's going to spend it with Zara. He says he needs some clarity on some things. And so he puts on like this denim jacket, or look like a denim jacket or a denim shirt. And he makes sure that it's completely unbuttoned in the front so you can see his bare chest. And he has on his Soldier Boy bling. And I think it was the bling that Kimberly had, struggle to get for him. And so he decides to FaceTime Zara. So Zara comes on. We meet Zara. She's a very cute girl and very attractive young lady. And He tells us that, they broke up because she couldn't handle all of the female attention that he was getting from his fans. And it made her feel very insecure, I guess. And so she decided to end it. And it left him very brokenhearted. And so when they ended it, according to Usman, that's when he started talking to Kimberly. And, Kimberly, she was down for the cause and she didn't care about any of the women and all of that. So she was going to, be with him regardless. So I guess Usman felt like there was some unfinished business between him and Zara. What it looked like to me is like he wanted to know if Zara still had feelings for him. That's what I think was the purpose of the call. He just wanted to know, does she still feel anything for me? And the way that he was talking to her, like the tone of his voice and his mannerisms, it was like very lovey-dovey, as if he still looked at her in a really romantic way. And of course he does. Of course he does. Of course he still wants to be with Zara. And if he had it his way, he probably would have been with Zara. It was just very romantical the way that they were communicating with each other. And even though she had broken up with him, you could tell like there was like that gleam in her eye as if, she still kind of still had feelings for Usman. And it's like we were eavesdropping on this very personal lovers conversation between these two. It was so intimate. It was more intimate than anything that we have ever seen between him and Kimberly. Even right before they actually were intimate, it was not as intimate as this conversation between him and Zara. So Usman asks if Zara misses him, and she says yes, that she does, which right there, right away tells you that she still has feelings for him, because if she didn't, she would have told him, no, I've moved on, and I hope you've moved on as well. But she says, yes, I still miss you, and he tells her that he still misses her as well. And then Usman says that Zara is young. She's 26 years old, and he was hoping one day that they would have this really big, beautiful family together. And it's like, okay, what are we doing here, Usman? You obviously still have feelings for this girl. You've completely forgotten about Kimberly. If there's anyone who was clueless and didn't know, now it was clear as day that you never were really into Kimberly. This whole time you're thinking about Zara, and who knows who else, but definitely you're thinking about Zara this whole time, because Kimberly's plane probably hasn't even left the ground yet. And here you are in your open up shirt, showing your pecs to Zara, making sure that, she sees all of that Usman goodness, and you're trying to figure out if she still misses you. Basically, does she still want to be with you? That's the bottom line. That's what I'm catching. So, and then on top of all of that, he sings a song. He sings the Zara song to her, and he goes back inside his hotel room to get really comfortable. To get really comfortable in the bed, and he just starts singing the Zara song to her, and I'm like, Kimberly is going to see this. Once again, it's these people. I'm not going to say men because I don't want to generalize. Women do it too. But it's these people who want to play these mind games with people, instead of just being open and honest. Like just telling Kimberly, I don't want to be with you. I don't really see it for us. I don't have those feelings for you. Or I'm still hooked up on my other, relationship. I'm not quite over that. Or I'm not ready to be in a new one because I haven't healed from my past relationship yet. Anything at all to let Kimberly go, let her be free, so that she's not going to constantly hold on to this useless hope that y'all are going to be together. But no, you're not going to do that. You're going to string Kimberly along, and then as soon as she turns her back, you're on the phone with Zara, whispering sweet nothings to her through FaceTime. And then when she gets upset at the tell-all, you're completely confused and bewildered and befuddled and not understanding what's going on. I can't stand it. Moving on to Memphis and Hamsa. So Memphis is preparing to leave, and she's saying goodbye to Hamza. She's saying goodbye to his mother and his sister. His mother was very emotional. I think she even cried when Memphis said goodbye to her and gave her a hug at the apartment. And it's just a lot of emotions, a lot of, goodbyes and so on and so forth. And at the airport, Hamza even cries at the airport. And, it's always so sad to see the departures, to see them saying goodbye to each other, because it seems like it seems real. It seems kind of genuine when they're saying goodbye to each other. And when Hamza started to cry, I was like, I really felt it in my heart. I really did. And then Hamza says that Memphis is the love of his life. And without her, it's like a body with no heart. I was like, wow. Hamza, if you don't have a career when you get to America doing anything else, please apply for Hallmark, for writing in their greeting cards. You'll have a career there. So it was just really sad. And, obviously Memphis was crying and it was just so sad. And so, yeah, she got on her plane and she's on her way back to the United States. Moving on to Ben and Mahogany. So we're at the tail end of their little fight, of their disagreement. And this is when, after Mahogany has given Ben a second chance, because after he refused to come to breakfast to meet her parents, not to meet her parents, but to have breakfast with her and her parents after they had traveled so long. And he didn't come to breakfast. He didn't let them know that he wasn't coming. So they were sitting around like three lumps on a log waiting for him, and he never showed up. And I guess it was really embarrassing for them to be wasting their time like that on this guy. So ever since then, basically Mahogany was done with him. She also was complaining about how, he's just not the same in person as he is online. The guy that I fell in love with, if she really did, the guy that I fell in love with online is not this guy here in front of me. It's just not the same. And so she's kind of like, distancing herself from him. But he begged and pleaded for her to give him one more chance, one more opportunity. And that's when they met at the pier. They shared, it seemed like a really passionate kiss between them. And he promised to see him. She promised to see him the next day. So that's where we're at. They met at the park, and you would think that since he was given the second chance that he would tread very lightly and not upset her. But of course, what makes sense is, to the rest of us, doesn't make any sense to Ben. So he does the complete opposite. He gets her riled up. He gets her upset by interrogating her, questioning her about lying about the age, lying about the apartment. Why are your pictures different from the way that you really look in real life? All of that. And it would turn anybody off. It's like, okay, I came to the park to meet with you, to spend time with you, quality time, trying to like regroup and reconnect. And here you are interrogating me like, I'm some criminal in the interrogation room at the police station. No, I'm not going to put up with this. And so she gets up and she walks away. Obviously, he follows her all the way to the car, and she's sitting in the back seat of the car and she's ready to go. And he opens up the car door and he's like, I'm not going to come in. Like, and the way he said it, it's like he knows that like he already knew that he was acting in some kind of a threatening or intimidating way, because he was like really trying to calm her down so that she wouldn't run away again. I'm not going to come in. I'm not going to come in. I just want to talk to you. And so he's like, I really just, then he starts saying whatever the hell he wanted to say to her. And Mahogany's not having it. She leaves. She comes out of the other door and she just starts walking away. And she's like, I can't deal with this. When Mahogany is done, Mahogany is done. But and then Ben has the audacity to say that her unwillingness to talk to him shows her immaturity, because if she was mature, she would be able to sit down with him and have that difficult conversation. We get it, Ben. We understand that there's a lot of inconsistencies in her stories. We understand that she led you on. We understand that there's some things about Mahogany that just don't quite make sense. But it's not really the time. If you wanted to reconnect with her, this was not the time to just dump all these questions on her. Take everything really slow. Y'all are not getting married the next day. So y'all have plenty of time, to really get to know each other. And you're going to have plenty of opportunities in the future to find out everything that you want to find out. Simple as that. Just be patient. Your lack of patience may show some lack of maturity on your end. So the next day he leaves he's on his way out, and he says that he had tried several times to reach out to her. Once again, it's like, when will these people learn? If someone doesn't want to fool with you, just leave them alone. And maybe when they don't hear from you, it might make them want to reach out to you. I don't know. But stop with the constant begging and the back-to-back text messages and all. Just, if someone is not responding to you after you send them that first message, why don't you have like this, I don't know, the self respect in yourself to just be like, oh, I texted them. They didn't reply. Well, they're not going to hear from me again. That's for sure. I'm not going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But anyways, that's Ben's way. And so he says that he had tried several times to reach out to her. She only responded one time, and the only thing she said to him was, "God bless you." And so he concludes that the relationship was not real, and he says that his heart is shattered. You did that yourself. You took that hammer and you shattered your own heart because the girl came to meet you at the park to talk to you, to figure out what's going on. She said that she fell in love with the Ben, if we're going to believe Mahogany, she fell in love with the Ben that she was communicating with online. And so, you, I don't know. I've already said it. I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record. You just messed up. At that meeting at the park bench, that's where you messed up. And she has every right to be like, you know what? I'm through with you. This is not what I signed up for. So I don't know what you were expecting, because you could have just taken it slow and just had a regular conversation with her. Talk about the Bible, like reconnect on that, because that's something that she enjoys doing. Have some philosophical discussions about the Bible, and then, leave it at that. And then, when you get to the United States, say, hey, I made it back safely. I really enjoyed my time with you in Peru, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Leave it. Why can't you just do that instead of, you lied about your age and you don't look the same and that wasn't really your apartment and all of moving on. Jasmine and Gino. So Jasmine and Gino, it's time for their goodbyes as well. They're in the bed together and they're talking, and she's very emotional about him leaving. So it's a whole bunch of lovey-dovey talk and a whole bunch of I love yous. And Jasmine says that she will continue to send him sexy videos of herself as long as he promises to not send them to anybody else. And I'm like, okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Live by that, Jasmine. Please live by that, because I wouldn't do it again. I would not do it again, girl. But that's you, whatever. And like I said, Jasmine, you're so attractive that you don't have to send naked pictures, half naked pictures, scantily clad pictures of yourself. You could put on a jogging suit and still look, thebomb.com and still look wonderful. So you don't have to do that. And I understand that you're like, oh, this is my man. This is what I want to do for my man. But after what y'all have been through and after he betrayed your trust like that, I wouldn't do it. But that's you, Jasmine. So Jasmine is worried that Gino's going to give up on her because she says he's a very attractive man. And I'm just so worried that he's going to, I guess, forget about her or distance himself from her. And I'm just speechless. I'm like, Gino has said time and time and time again that he's never had a woman love him the way Jasmine does, that he will never find a woman like Jasmine again. He knows what he has. He's not going to give that up. He's not going to distance himself from you. But she's worried that, he's so attractive. I guess other women are going to steal him away from her. I don't know, I guess. But that just shows her insecurity. For her to think that, it just shows how terribly insecure she is. And that was just bizarre that she was worried about that. And she also says, I can't fit into his suitcase, but I'm still in his heart, or something like that. I was like, Jasmine, stop. And yeah, so they're at the airport. They're both very emotional. They're both crying. And he got on the plane, and that was the end of that. I don't know what to say. I'm like more confused now than I was at the very first episode with Jasmine and Gino. She's the one that's worried about him leaving her. Okay. And then, yeah, that's my review. I just want to get to the tell all. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate all the love, the support, the comments, the likes, the dislikes, the views, all of that. I really do appreciate it. It means so much to me because I really enjoy doing this. So yeah, don't forget to rate the video, and don't forget to subscribe, and stay tuned for my review of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days Tell All. Thank you so much. Bye.